Hello, and welcome to the intro video for the fourth week projects. Let's go ahead and dive right in with project 6. So I'll go ahead and start at step 2. It's asking us to select the shipment times worksheet and select cell D5. So let me go ahead and adjust my Excel so I can see more of my sheets. There we go. Shipment times the first sheet, and then select cell D5. The dates in these sheets are volatile because they are determined using the today function in cell B5. So what that means is what we see is not what's actually in the formula bar. So let me go and show you what that looks like. So we're going to type in equal and then selecting cell C5 and then press minus and then select B5 and then press enter. And so the first shipment requires 4 days. And then you notice that in the formula bar, it's C5 minus B5, but what you see in cell D5 is the number 4. So that's what they meant by volatile. Um, we're in step 3 now, so it's asking us to use the text function to display the days of the week. So I need to select E5. And then I need to go to the formulas tab and then select textbook. And then I need to scroll down to text. And then now it wants us to type in the values. So in the value argument, I don't need to select C5, I can just type that in. And then in the format text box, I just need to type in 4Ds. If I click out, the 4Ds just tells Excel to display the day. And then click OK. And then you notice it's Thursdays when it's going to arrive. So part G is asking us to copy and paste the values to the rest of the columns. And the easy way to do that is just select D5 and E5 and then hover over the fill handle and then double click there. Right. That completes step 3. Step 4 is asking us to evaluate formulas with error triangles. So select cell C10. And then you notice there, this is called a trace error icon. Um, it's kind of warning us there might be some errors. So let's double check that. So to double check whether or not if it's errors, we need to go to the formulas tab, evaluate error, which is this round circle with the function uh, expression fx. So click on that. Right now it's saying it's looking at the cells B10, and if we evaluate again, it actually shows the back end, the actual value of B10, but this is not an error, so we're okay. So we're on step part G now. So go back to C10, click the trace error button, and then just ignore error. And we're going to do that for C12, C28, and C35. So in C12, do the same thing. More and not these trace errors. I don't. I wish Microsoft does a better job of actually creating error alerts, but they. I applaud them that they try. Anyways, go to step 5. So nest. I've been calling it Xmatch, but I bet it stands for cross match. Um, anyway, so I'm going to call it cross match from now on. So next nest cross match and index to display quantity. So we need to go to the inventory tab, which is the last sheet, and select cells A3 to H50. And then we want to name this range inventory. So to do that, let me go ahead and zoom in. You want to click on this name box field. Right now, we just want to replace A3 with the word inventory and just click enter. And for now on, this range field that we selected it's going to be called the inventory range, and it's going to be stored into the paste name dialog box. Okay. Now we want to select cells K5 and type in WE006. So I need to use my horizontal bar to look for K5. And WE006, and I'm going to hit enter. And then that brings me to cells K6. So I don't need to select that, but I need to go to lookup and reference. So, sorry, it's the search book, and then I need to go to the word index, and then I want to select the first option. And part F is asking us to hit F3, and then it's going to ask us to select that range that we gave a name for. So it's that range is called inventory. And then we want to click in the row number box, and then click on the name drop down arrow. So the name drop down is right here. Click the down arrow. It wants us to look for cross match, but if we can't find cross match here, we will need to click on more functions and then look for cross match. So thankfully it's in the lookup and reference book, so I can just scroll to the bottom and select cross match and hit OK. So what we're doing right now is nesting functions within the function. In fact, we're going to do it like two functions in one. So it kind of shows you the capability of Excel. Anyways, so now we're into this function arguments. Let me go ahead and zoom out. And then I need to either click on cell K5 or type it in for the lookup value. So I'm going to type that in. And then go to lookup array, and I'm going to just type in A3 to A50. Go here. And then I want to go back to the index function. So I do that by going to the formula bar and then click on index. Okay, again, and that brought me back to the index argument. And you notice it has cross match set up for the row number value. So I need to go to column number, and then I'm going to create another cross match in there. So this time, if I go to the hover in the name box, I should be able to have a cross match there. And then from here, we're going to look at the quantity. Oh, um, I misspelled it. So just one of those things you just have to keep your eye for. Yeah. And then the lookup array is going to be A3. And we don't need to worry about match mode. Once again, I need to click on index. You might have to click it more than once to have index selected. So this is the value you need to have within your index function arguments. And then you know you'd set it up right when you see that the formula result is 2. Just to kind of show you the power of the function. Right now it's just saying for the product that is WE006, which is black rocket hiking boots. There's only 2 of them. We're going to look up a different product. So it's WE040. And then, so we have quantity for that. So it's a really neat function where we can quickly determine what we have in stock. Now, moving on to step 6, use some ifs to calculate product in stock. So I'm going to select cell L13. So once again, I'm going to move my horizontal bar so I can see my L13. Click the math and trig button, which is this Greek symbol. I think it's theta. And then scroll to some ifs. Make sure it's some ifs with the S. And then for sum range, I'm gonna just type in E4 to E50. Um, it's more often than not, it's easier to type it in than select because especially if you're using a touchpad, it might get a little tricky selecting different cells. And then I'm gonna just highlight what I've inputted here. Can I highlight it? It's not gonna let me highlight it. But anyway, so they want to make the reference absolute, so I'm gonna hit F4, click on yeah. Make sure it's dollar signs for both cells, the beginning and then end of the range. And so we're gonna enter quite a few values in a SUMIFs argument. So it's gonna that's why we used it instead of regular SUMIF, because we can use multiple criteria. So in the range one box, we need to um, type in C4 to C50, F4, F4 there. You might need to use arrow keys if Excel won't let you like highlight. I was hoping I can highlight the entire value, but it didn't. So I just used the arrow key to move it to the first cell and then hit F4 so that to make the first cell absolute. Anyways, moving on to part E, um, type in K13. This one is going to be relative, so we don't need to hit F4 for that. Criteria range 2 box is B4 to B50, so wants that to be absolute. Um, Criteria 2 is going to be J13. Um, so let's just zoom in really quick. So make sure you set this up the way you see it on the screen right now. There can be errors in inputting value when you type things in, so just make sure it matches what you see here. And you know you did it right when it says the formula result is 16. And hit OK. And now it wants us to copy the formula in cell L13 to L14. So I'm just going to click on L13, hover over the fill box, and just drag it down to the cell beneath it, and then it says 18. All right, so this is the part where I'll stop. Um, and just a tip for the rest of this project is just pay really close attention to your what you type in into your um, boxes, because that's where a lot of error can occur. And so once again, you know, if you do have errors, it's most likely you mistype a value. So just pay attention to that. The only thing I just need to point out really as a hint, it's in step 11 where we have a ifs function. There's quite a lot of values for step 11. So you're gonna have to use the down arrow on the scroll bar here, which is part G. Click the down scroll arrow. Now you don't see it in this screenshot, so let me zoom in. But you'll see it if you hover over the scroll bar, and then you will see the up and down arrow. The reason why you want to use that is instead of just scrolling downward is because it actually has a lot of fields. So by clicking the down arrow, you can kind of focus on the next field. And I would recommend that you click the down arrow twice so that you can finish H and I. Okay, so that concludes the intro for Project 6. So and I'll go ahead and move on to show you um, Project 7. All right, so here's the intro for Project 7. I'm going to start our step 2. It's asking us to select the Agents Sheet tab. So it's going to be the second tab. Step 3 is asking us to find and clear data validation. So click the Find and Select button, which is on the Home tab. And then it's Find and Select B. Oh, for me it's under, obviously, right, the search icon. And then Find and Select. And then we want to go to Special. Part B is asking to select the button for data validation, and then click OK. Right now there's no cells are selected because there's um, no cells in the agent sheet have validation criteria, so that makes sense. So it's just trying to expose you to this data validation feature. So let's go to the comparison sheet tab, and I'm pretty sure there's data validation we can do here. So we can just go back to what we go back to find and select data validation, and voila, a bunch of cells are selected because they have what they call it. They have validation settings. Okay. So click on data validation button in a data tab, data tools, which is this check mark and red symbol down there, and we want to select clear all. Okay. Actually, click the button first. Okay. And then we need to go to the settings tab, which is here. Right now it's currently set to 10. And then we want to click the clear all button. So we're going to create a new data validation. All right, so step 4 is asking to set validation criteria with an error alert. So this part A is asking us to verify all the cells are selected, and they are. Even though H13 looks a little weird, it just means that's where Excels have the cell that is currently active. Now we want to go to part B where it's asking us to, oops, I can't check that off yet. Click on the allow drop down arrow, and then we want to choose decimal from the option here. And then we want to click on the data drop down arrow and then select greater than or equal to. And then in the minimum, we want to type in 0. Click on the error alert tab and make sure this box is checked. Verify that the stop display style is selected. And then click the title box and we want to type in required. And then for part H, I like to just copy and paste that. Okay. Including the period. Okay, well, here's the period. I just typed that one in because I did not copy that and hit OK. Now in uh, step 5, it's asking us to display the developer tab on the ribbon. So right, it's already shown, but if it's not shown, let me go ahead and show you how to do that. So you want to go to the options command, which is in the file, and then options is all the way down here at the bottom. Click on that. And then you want to go to customize ribbon, and then you want to go to the developer box. But mine is already checked, so I'm just doing it to show you just in case your developer tab is not visible. Okay. So that's 5 and 6. So step 6 is asking us to insert a spin button form control. So before we do that, we want to show the grid lines. Right now, we don't see any grid lines. So in order to show the grid lines, go to View, and then the View section here. Mine is a little cramped, so I'm gonna, yeah. So I just expand it so I can see the grid line checkbox option. So I'm gonna break that down. Oh, okay, so it's under this when I collapse it into half screen, it's under this show, and then that's where you could select the grid lines. Part B is asking us to click the Insert Controls button, which is in the Developers tab, and then Controls, it's in the toolbox icon. Click that, and then you're gonna see controls. There's gonna be two up down arrows, but you want the big one. This one is the spin button. And then what's this one? The scroll bar. So we want the spin button. So click on that. And then we want to draw a rectangle over I-21 and I-22. So here, I-21 and I-22. Okay. And it should look like what you see there in the screenshot. We want to right click the control and then we want to format it. So right click, format the control. We want to set the minimum value to 1. Um, so right now the minimum value is 0. So I can just click the up arrow actually. Maximum value is 8. So that's much lower. So instead of clicking the scroll button down, I'm just going to type in 8. And then I think I'll just leave incremental change default as 1. And then it wants us to click the cell link box and select um, cell H22. So click on the cell link and then H22 should be this. Verify that 3D shading box is selected and then we can click OK. And you notice it says the agent 1. It wants us to click on H23, but I think you can click anywhere, that's fine. To deselect the control. Alright, so this is my intro for project 7. As for the hints for this rest of this project, um, just make sure you notice I copy and paste values like this one. Just don't do that for step 9 to 12. It kind of messes up the functions that are in the cells, so just type those values in. And yeah, I'm gonna have a better screenshot so when you look at this, you don't have to squint and try to figure out whether or not the numbers are correct. So yeah, once again, I'll post the completion guide on Friday. So thank you for watching and good luck on this week's project.